Are you ready? Well, that's enough silliness to start off the show. Welcome to my Southern Exposure, as well as Rajina Ryan Singh Southern Exposure. This is season number dos, episode number nueve. I think that means 9. I don't know if that's correct or not. My Espanolés. I know my Spanish is not so buenos. So we've got a big show for today, and
sure do.
I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but I'm a little festivus. I got the Boss Angel in this corner. I got my little Charlie Brown Christmas tree here, and I just happen to be one of Santa's helpers. So it is my pleasure to welcome all of our viewers at home, all around the world, over 73,000 views altogether. And thank you so much. We had a absolutely wonderful and beautiful Thanksgiving. We were lucky enough to be able to get donations in and get food out to 6 families of 4 to 6 people. So about 24 to 36 people. We were fortunate enough to take food to them for Thanksgiving. Yay! So very exciting. I want to just tell people, if they're interested in helping with Christmas, you can also do that as well. Go to WeegoLLC.com. That's WEE, Weego, WEEGO, Click on the little tab that says Weego Cares. And if you are a family in need that's close by, then we will be more than happy to bring whatever we can to you to make your holidays festive. And if you are anywhere across the United States and you want to help us be able to help people locally, that's what we focus on for right now. Eventually, hopefully someday, we will have other locations where we'll be able to do it in other cities as well with Weego Cares. But that's going to be a process down the line. So my butt feels better. So that's a good thing. Not better, but at least it's not black. Today happens to be a full moon. And ironically, my full moon is the correct color. So it's going to shine brightly today and tonight, which is a good thing. And it's a blessing, that's for sure, after falling on it and it being pretty much pitch black for 2 weeks. But that's been my week and my welcome. And I want to thank and share my blessings with my co-host, Rajina Ryan Singh, probably the reason why most of you at home watch the show. Raji, how's your week been?
Oh my goodness, flattery's gonna get you everywhere, Joseph. You know how to ego stroke me. So yes, you're right. To all our viewers around the world, hello, honey. Hello. And to our viewers in Ghana, Africa, okay. I just had to do that. That's actually a Ghanaian.
I was waiting for the second verse. I was loving it. Please.
That's actually a Ghanaian children's song. Kids sing that. So anyway, I had a Ghanaian babysitter when I was little, and so she taught me it, and I never forgot that song. I never forgot it. So yes, I think it's great what you did, giving out all of those meals. Isn't it about doing something positive in the world in your own unique way, and making a positive difference however you can? And so Thanksgiving, I mean, we should do that every day, but Thanksgiving is a wonderful time to do that for people that aren't as fortunate as we are. So, yes, welcome back, everyone. We have a juicy, juicy show, juicier than all of this voluptuousness. So, can you imagine? You all better get in store. And on that note, I'm going to toss it back over to Joseph, and he's going to start with the first topic, honey.
Oh, girl, we got so much to talk about. I don't even know which thing to start with first. It's been a week. So I think I want to start off first with two things that directly affect us, the LGBTQ community. And thank you to Joe Biden and thank you to Kamala Harris. They have appointed such a diverse a group of people, and it just gets better and better and better every single day. We almost have the LGBTQ, what I call sandwich, because there's just so many layers to it. So today, or I believe it was yesterday, the very first openly lesbian chief of staff was designated, Karine Jean-Pierre, who also happens to be a woman, and she's a woman of color, and she fulfills the L of the LGBTQ. Do not forget, on top of that, we also got the G for the White House Social Secretary, Carlos Alonso, gay man, happens to be a person of color as well. That's definitely a good thing. I think it's nice to be able to have a leader who understands that everyone's perspective matters. Even though you might not understand or agree with whatever that person believes, it's important to have representation across the board, male, female, tall, short, black, white, lesbian, bi, whatever, Episcopalian, Hindu, Buddha, Christianity. It doesn't make any difference, really. I think it's really nice to be able to look forward to somebody who is open to being open to receive representation across the board. So this has been a really great week, and I'm so thankful for what he and the American public have decided to give back to us, because we do deserve it. Over 80 million people made the right decision, and we are moving forward and building back better. So my question for you is, Rashi, do you think we're going to get the LGBTQIA sandwich as representation in the White House? Because it sure looks like we're halfway there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but it would be really, really nice. When Obama was president, he did appoint a transgender person to a position at the White House. And of course, when Obama was president, Joe Biden was vice president. So I wouldn't be totally surprised if it happens again under his administration. The point is, I think he gets that government needs to reflect society. America looks very different than the America of yesterday. And America is so much more of a melting pot now. And everyone needs to be represented in government. And also in the levels of courts, we need all types of judges sitting in different circuit courts around the country, just to create a balance. Because when you have one particular group of people kind of running things, or the majority of this group of people running things, it does become lopsided or one-sided, So I am really happy, and it wouldn't surprise me if Biden even fulfills the Q, honey. The LGBTQ. And if he doesn't, I mean, I know that his intentions, I can feel it. His intentions are good, and he really does mean well for our country. Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited to see what's going to go down. Oh my gosh. And let me
I am as well. I'm really excited because it's every day there's a new little gift that we get. It kind of feels like that what is it, the 30 days of Christmas, and you open up that little door. I don't remember what religion that is. I think it might be Jewish. The little tiny doors that you open up, the 30 days of gifts or something for Hanukkah. That's what it feels like right now. It feels like every day we're getting a little gift, and it's good for everybody. And that's what it feels like. I'm not a big sports follower. I mean, I like watching some sports, but it's because I'm a little perverse, and I like seeing the men in the really tight-fitting outfits, so that's not necessarily a good reason to watch the sports. But we had a really big day yesterday in college football. I don't know if you know about this or not, and I can't remember the girl's name. I'm going to pull it up, and if you know the name, then that will help me, Raji. But the very first female played alongside with the boys. She was the captain of the Vanderbilt College, the university. She was the captain of the soccer team. And because she was so good, and also, unfortunately, because the starting kicker fell ill with the COVIDs, then she was asked to do the kickoff. And she did a very specific kick. I don't know the terminology like the sports guys do, but like there's certain things that you're supposed to do and certain things that you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to kick the ball so that it goes really far deep into the other end and then make it so that they cannot run it back. And she did the perfect maneuver, kicked the ball. She looked great. And it said, "Play like a girl" on the back of her helmet. And she nailed it. So it's the first time that we've ever had that male and female both playing at the same time in a sports kind of thing. To be honest with you, for me, it makes me more interested to watch. I'm more interested to watch now because of them doing that. The idea that boys and girls can play together, it's really nice to see that. It doesn't have to be all boys. It doesn't have to be all girls. It doesn't really matter. So what do you think about that? And did you see it? Because when I saw it, I was shocked.
Well, I didn't see it. I saw it on the news, if that's what you mean. I'm not into sports at all. I mean, yeah, I'm totally not into sports. But I did hear it on the news. I thought it was absolutely wonderful. And I can't remember her name, but I know that she did say, "Hey, anything is possible when you put your mind to it." She said, "Really?" And she said she hopes that she's an example of that. And so, yeah, I think it's fabulous. It's something, though, how, this wouldn't have happened, like 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I mean, so we have come a long way. And even though we still have a long way to go in many regards, as far as like equality and equity and all of that, these things happening to me are progression in the right direction, like progress in the right direction. And so, yeah, it's great. It's great. Now I wonder if we'll see men being cheerleaders for the girls teams around the country now. I mean, you never know, so.
Well, it's actually funny that you bring up that topic because they started to have male cheerleaders just relatively recently, but they've had male cheerleaders in professional, I should say, like the cheerleading competitions are the ones that usually hold the girls up in the air. That's been going on for a long time. And like the cheering subsect, I don't know what the thing is to call it properly, but to give her kudos, her name is Sarah Fuller.
Sarah Fuller, go Sarah.
Sarah Fuller, ooh, you go Sarah. Sarah is definitely not a Karen. She is Sarah. Sarah's got kick and she got drive. That's for sure. And hopefully she will be invited back and continue to do things well. Unfortunately, Vanderbilt got their ass handed to them on a plate because they lost 41-0.
Oh my God.
And it had nothing to do with Sarah. She did the right thing. that might have been the only thing that was done correctly. What she did, she got the ball where it was supposed to go, and the boys just maybe they were just like awestruck, or a girl was on the field, they didn't know what to think. I mean, I don't even know what to say. I mean, but 41-0.
So wait, the team that she was on
lost.
They lost.
Vanderbilt left with a big old goose egg, a big old 0.
Oh.
They left with a big old goose egg. I mean, they lost really well. I mean, they lost with at least they won. They won the hearts of many people like myself and others out there. But there's no sideways of saying it. So the only highlight to that college game was Sarah Fuller. Kudos, thank you, Sarah Fuller. I hope there are more Sarah Fullers out there that want to continue to step in the right direction and push the edge of the envelope to test the what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do. I want to bring up the next topic because it directly affected me vis-a-vis through social media. And it's that time of year, Raji, that there are tons of holiday scams and crime and everything else. So I want to at least alert people and tell our viewers at home to be more careful when you go out shopping. Make certain to lock your doors. If you are going to be driving late at night, try to park directly underneath like a light so you can see as you're getting into or out of your car. Put bags out of sight. Try to cover things if you are shopping. If you're online and you see something, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. That's the general rule. If you get a text message, I didn't get one, but from what I understand, there are several scam text messages going out there. There's ones for food, free food from quote unquote companies, and there's ones for participation for research studies for COVID that are scams also as well, that they noticed on the local news. So if it's happening here locally, it's probably happening all across the world. And then there's also one specifically that I want to identify. I already flagged Facebook, which is not one of my favorite places to go, but it does help with certain things. So I don't want to say that they're horrible, even though I think the owner is basically the evil spawn of Lucifer. But there's one on there where, quote unquote, a fake account was set up by, quote unquote, Aldi. And it says that they're going to give you free food and you're going to get a gift card. And then people are just automatically forwarding it to their friends and they're asking for your address and your phone number and all this other kind of stuff. And when I saw that, what I did was very first thing, I went directly to the Aldi website. I saw that it was flagged on their website and I saw that they're not doing what was being done. So then I alerted them to the fact that there are no things, but they at least alerted people on their website. But there's a lot of people out there that are trying to look for something good to grab onto. And those criminals are out there now, especially this time of year. They're preying upon our weakness. They know that we're stuck at home. They know that we're looking at our phones. They know that we're on the internet. They know that we're bored. They know that we all want to help each other. Well, at least 80 million people want to help each other. The other 70 million are stupid. But the fact is that we have to at least alert each other. We have to contact each other. Like I contact you. I have like, I don't even know how many people that I call on a daily basis, locally and all across the United States that I talk to every single day, to check in with them and see how they're doing and just give them a little bit of a vibe about what's going on. But what do you think about the holiday scams, and what is your perspective about how to mitigate being giving but not being stupid, Raji?
Yeah. It's certainly a balancing act, and it's certainly also proceeding with caution. I mean, scams have been around forever. you know, but because of the internet, they've been taken to like a greater level at this point. And there's always some sort of scam coming out, someone coming up with some sort of scam. So I would say proceed with caution. You just gotta be careful, be alert, um, and don't let it tarnish your Christmas spirit or your holiday spirit. Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, New Year's, all of that. Don't let it tarnish that. Just be careful. Just be careful. I gave today. I had to run out and do some errands, and I gave this guy. I could tell they were hungry, and I gave him some money, but it was on my own terms. It wasn't a whole lot of money. It was a few dollars, but hopefully he could get a sandwich or something with it. So, in our own little ways, we can do that. We can help. Sometimes you can help like a group of people. Other times it's like a one-on-one thing, like I did today with that gentleman. So yeah, there's different ways to do it and not be scammed.
Okay, so my question for you.
You look like an elf that's ready to scam someone. No, I'm playing.
I need to scam myself into eating less. Is what I need to do. I need to scam myself into eating less food, and not falling off of roofs, and and just making a little bit better financial decisions. But the heart's in the right place. That's the most important part. Amen, hallelujah. Like Medea would say, hallelujah. I do want to bring up several actually sad things but we have to address it. Here in Florida, we now have had we're probably at this moment at over 1 million cases of COVID-19 or whatever it is. I hate putting that name on it because who even freaking knows at this point what it is. And so now we joined the triple million club with Florida. That's not a good number to have. Part of the reason why I bring up this topic, and then we can backtrack and go back and forth with a couple of other things also as well, is that continuously, I should say, our current Ron Dick Satan, whatever his name is, he continues to downplay the virus. He continues to push forward things that are making it hard for people to understand the seriousness of it. We still do not have a statewide mask mandate, unfortunately, even though there's statewide mandates in other states. Hopefully, this will soon be taken care of with Biden and Harris, and it'll be a nationwide mask mandate. And then we have these people who are like, it's just so confusing to me. We're up to 280 or 260,000 deaths. Here in Florida, it's 18,000 deaths. I mean, how many people have to die before people actually start to understand that this is real? Whatever it is real. People are dying. It's a trajectory just like this. And actually, I said it last week, and that's ironic because that's exactly what Dr. Fauci said yesterday on Meet the Press, or this morning. He actually did the same thing. This is what it is. And he's like, it's supposed to be like this, and it's like this. I'm like, well, apparently I'm not the only one who uses stupid little graphs instead of me drawing shit out. But I mean, the fact is it's real. It's not getting better. It's not going to get better. And the part that I have a problem with is like people feel as though economy. And I'm repeating myself with this topic, but we have maybe some new people that might watch this episode because it's new, and they might not watch the other episodes. But the idea of this blatant shirking it off like it's not real. And he was seen at some location recently with his daughter on his knee at some kind of an event somewhere. No mask on his daughter, no mask on him. He doesn't want to wear a mask. Fine. Then that's you. But then you're putting your daughter at risk, a little baby girl. She can't make a decision because she trusts you. You made that baby. That is your baby. First of all, you shouldn't have taken it. Second of all, it's not a photo opportunity. Shouldn't be out in public in general, to be honest with you. But we have a lot of people who, some of the people are saying you got to wear a mask in some states, and then they take a trip. Or some people are, you got to wear a mask in some place, and then they get seen out at dinner not wearing a mask and eating. So it's one of those things where it's like very frustrating and confusing. And it also turns out that there's a brand new report that came out. I'll have to pull up the information while you talk, that the 6 foot distance thing has been bupkis basically the whole time, which I've postulated that and talked about it before with propellants in rooms. They go 30 feet, not 6 feet. They only came up with that 6 foot rule. In my opinion, they came up with that rule because they didn't want to say everything has to shut down. So they wanted to at least say, if you're 6 feet apart, then you're okay. The reality is most businesses are probably not much wider than 10 feet, 15 feet across, 15 to 20 feet across. Most small businesses, it's called a small business, not because the business is small. Well, actually it is. It's because the physical location is small. 15 to 30 feet across is like the average storefront. And here in Wilton Manors, you're talking about $30 to $35 a square foot to have a small business, which is ludicrous. That's a whole other story. But my question for you is, what do you think about Ron Dick-Satan just basically playing it off like it's business as usual, not pushing through a statewide mandate for masks, and continuing to allow pushing forward tourism and everything's fine and everything's hunky-dory when there's more and more people getting sick, and now the hospitals are getting close to capacity down here? What do you think about that, Raji?
Wow. Well, it doesn't surprise me because he's always been, a Trumper. And Trump is kind of like is basically setting the footing for that mentality when it comes to COVID. I mean, that's been his thing all along. He seemed to not really take it seriously from the beginning. So it doesn't surprise me. What I think about it is it's just going to lead to more people being infected and unfortunately more deaths. I am holding on to hope that these vaccines that they're coming out with, they seem pretty well. The way they're talking about them, I mean, it seems like it's going to be a good thing. But that's what do they say? The jury's still out on that because I think we talked about this last week where the average time frame for a drug study is 10 years. Before the FDA approves it for the market, for the public, I should say. So, this was less than a year. It was in a matter of like months. So we'll see how this all plays out. But I'm trying to be hopeful. And the good thing is, not as many people are dying. Now, 5 people or 500 people, it's still horrible. It's still a horrible thing. Anyone losing their life. But I'm just saying, I think if the virus was this way, if everyone that got the virus died from it, I think people would be taking it a lot more serious than they are today, than they are actually doing. So I don't know, this 2020 year, who would have thought last year, this time, I would have never thought that 2020 would be the way it has been. But, we're moving along, going through it, and we're almost to the end of the year. So I'm really hoping that 2021 will be a better year. And, I know there's going to be a lot of people that don't want to take the vaccine. I'm thinking, that I know you're not taking it. Yeah. I'm thinking probably by like April, May, June, that's when it'll start to be dispersed to like the general public, because they definitely have their tiers that they're doing So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out.
Well, it's actually interesting that you bring that up, because that's kind of the reason why I brought up the topic is that I wanted you to actually say what you said at the end. I didn't tell you to say it. I'm happy that you did. The CDC actually they came out. I should say, people in positions of power actually want the CDC to release all of the information before the vaccines are distributed. And the reality is that there has not been enough time to know all of the side effects. And those would just be instant side effects. Those aren't short term. Those aren't long term. Those aren't 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years later. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but back in the day, when some people got the chickenpox vaccine, turns out that some of those vaccines 40 years later, guess what you get? Shingles. Congratulations. Mommy and Daddy got me that vaccine though. They jumped on that vaccine bus.
Shingo.
Oh, thank you, Mommy. Thank you, Daddy. Thanks for giving me that vaccine shot right there when I was a little baby, because you fell for that commercial. And then now I'm 70 years old, and now I got all you did was just postpone it, and now I got shingles all over my body. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that.
And actually, I heard they're really painful. The shingles, I heard it's really painful. Yeah,
I know, but that's what I'm talking about. You can't do something to fast track, light speed, whatever bullshit name that they came up with the fucking orange face monster, to just make it sound good. It's okay. It's like a piece of candy. I'm not going to say the name brand of this piece of candy. Well, if you take this pill, then everything will be better.
Oh God! I heard that, honey bunny.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I mean, that little pill could kill you now, instantly, or could kill you 5 years from now, or could kill you 10 years from now, or could kill you 40 years from now. Mm-hmm. That's the reality. There's no other way to look at it. I mean, there really is no other way to look at it. And then people have this idea, and I know that you are a fan, not a fan, but that you respect vaccines in a different way that I do, and I respect your opinion because we both have two different opinions. But the part that really is upsetting to me is that when they show these commercials on TV, one of them comes to mind specifically. I can't remember which disease it is, but they show the kids and then they show the adults, and they say, not on my watch, such and such. The mom or dad puts their hand out. Not on my watch, such and such. I'm getting my child vaccinated. And then you have this person who's less than 18 years old. You're making that decision for that person. Long after you're gone and dead, your decision is going to affect that child who didn't have a choice. So all I'm saying is all these diseases have been around for a long time, way before Big Pharmacy was around. And there's a lot of different ways to take care of illness. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to take a pill. You can actually let your body go through whatever the process is, and then it take care of itself. You're supposed to build up natural immunity, but you shouldn't be forced to build up natural immunity because someone doesn't want to wear a fucking mask because they got to get their nails done. And then the other part, this flip side is with the whole antibody thing. They don't have any research about what happens. So some people are out there, they got an antibody test. They know that they had it. They know that they have it. We don't even know if they're spreading it around. And some of the people are like, well, I already had it. I'm fine. I don't need to wear a mask. Some of those people, they might be the person who's cutting your hair. It might be your bartender. Oh, here you go. I'm fine, but here's your drink. Go ahead and have your drink. They might be spreading it to you. They don't have to cough or sneeze. If they don't wash their hands, they might be sweating, handing something to you, cutting your hair, handing you your groceries. You really don't, none of us know. And no one seems to just want to say, none of us fucking know. Just like, seriously, none of us know. None of us know what's going on. So the part that I have a problem with is like this idea that this problem happened so quickly. And what in human history has there ever been an illness that you know of, Raji, that you can get on Friday and be dead on Monday?
Well, oh God, Ebola. Wait, there was one that is really bad too, and I'm trying to remember it. It was out of Africa under Obama's watch, and people were getting it and dying within days. I forgot the name of that.
That was Ebola. No, I think that was Ebola, and actually, that's when Biden was in place, and he was in charge of the task force for infectious diseases, and they squashed it.
Right. But that's another example of a virus that you got and could kill you in a matter of days. So there has been before. Now the thing is with pharmaceutical, this is the thing. I've always been kind of, well, not always, but I would say for most of my life, open to Western medicine, but also open to Eastern medicine. Like, the holistic way too. And I think for me, what works is a combination of the two. There are vaccines that have been created that have like squashed a lot of shit. Polio was nothing to play with, and people were dying of that, and I mean, there's just so many things that you can name, but the thing about medicine is that most of the time when you have a medication for something, it causes an adverse reaction or it affects something else in an adverse way. So for instance, I'm taking antibiotics right now for my cyst under my breast. I think we talked about it last week. But okay, so they're helping. Oh my God, this is like 80% better, almost 90% better. So it's working, but I'm getting the side effects from the antibiotics. This particular antibiotic, it just messes up your stomach. So my stomach is just a mess. It's just been bothering me, the whole with griping and cramps and all of that. And it also makes me sleepy. And those are the main side effects. But that's just an example of how the medication I'm taking, it's definitely helping, but then I'm dealing with side effects from it. And I think that goes for the majority of medicine, pharmaceutical. But that's also with herbs too, because holistic medicine, you can't just go taking any herbs. You have to be, like conscientious about what you're taking, how much you're taking. And some people have adverse reactions from it. It's just like, oh, what's that? It's okay.
It's my herbal medicine recipe book that I'm starting.
Oh, okay. I love it. Yeah. So it's just like, okay, I could love peanuts and eat peanuts. You could have a peanut allergy and eat peanuts and die. Like our bodies are different. I could love fish, or you could love fish, and I could be allergic to fish, or fish can make me really sick. My mom can't eat bananas. I love bananas, but my mom cannot eat bananas. They make her want to vomit. The smell of them and the taste of them. And I love bananas. So everyone is different. Everyone's bodies are different. Everyone reacts to food differently, medication, etc., etc. But I think for me, I think a combination of the two has worked nicely. I think it has worked nicely because, honey, there's been some situations that I'm in, and when I got that medication, oh my God, talk about relief. Oh my God, talk about like relief, really great relief. So anyway, yeah. But I know you don't you don't like your pharmaceuticals, Joseph. I know.
I don't like no medicine. I really don't. I absolutely not. Nope. Rest and water and focusing on what the problem is works for me, but I know that's not the same for other people. So, but to revisit Thanksgiving, because it was a very special day for a lot of us, it was also not a very special day for others. I especially liked that Joe Biden and Harris put out an actual shout out to the Native Americans Day, the day after Thanksgiving. Thank you very much, true leader. But I do have to bring up this funny little anecdote because I don't know if people know the definition of jive turkey. Jive turkey was, I believe, a phrase that was used on the Jeffersons or some other show. What are you, some jive turkey? So I actually looked up the definition of jive turkey, which is exactly what happened on Thanksgiving Day with the display at the White House. You haven't been doing nothing. Why do you have to have the turkeys that get a pardon? You pardon 2 turkeys that you're not going to eat. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense because the day before, he pardoned another turkey, one of his buddies. So there were 3 jive turkeys for Thanksgiving. It was just pardons across the borders. So it's one of those things where it's like, just go away already. Seriously. Like, let the adults do what we need to do to clean up your hot mess. But I thought it was very disrespectful to do something like that. But I mean, what else do we expect from this buffoon? I just wanted to mention that and get it off my chest because it really got under my craw, to be honest with you. It's just like, I'm just done. There have been a couple of other additional maneuvers to basically box in Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that have happened within the last few days. Besides pulling troops out of Afghanistan and also Somalia just recently, with the guise of getting troops home for the holidays. Then also the Iranian leader was murdered in a car explosion, and he was akin to Oppenheimer here in the United States. They likened this leader to Oppenheimer with the development of nuclear weapons and weapons that are designed to protect each individual country. My question for you, Raji, is, do you think it's fair for just one country or 2 or 3 out of all the countries in the world to have nuclear capabilities and then squash down everybody else, saying that they don't deserve it or that you're concerned about if they're going to use them for evil? And then why is it that it's okay for the United States to have so many weapons and Russia and China, but it's not okay for Iran or any other country?
Exactly.
And don't you think it's a little peculiar that happened just like a day after basically Trump understood that he basically had his ass handed on a plate and he's out of the way? Do you think that there's no correlation there? Because it seems awfully convenient that happened right now, and that he just, gave a pardon for one of his jive turkeys on Turkey Day.
Well, okay, so I'll say this. Um, it could be coincidental, but it wouldn't surprise me if that shit was orchestrated and if it's connected in some way. Because, really, you have to question all the freaking governments here on the planet and the shit that's going on behind the scenes. It's so much crap, and we all know it. We know it. It's just a lot of stuff going on, and some countries are more corrupt than others. And but the bottom line is I totally understand your point. Like, who I want some ice cream. Is that the ice cream truck? um, I totally understand your point. It's like, oh, so we get to have the nuclear weapons. China gets to, and Russia, but no one else is allowed. The ideal thing for me is that none of us should have nuclear weapons. That's the ideal thing for me. That would be the equality thing and the most ideal thing for the planet. But unfortunately, they already exist. So, honey, that train is long gone. We can't do nothing about it. Really, is the fact that they already exist. And yeah, that's a really good point. And it's like, oh, so we're morally uh evolved, that we're able to have the nuclear weapons, but Iran isn't. Or you know well, I was going to say North Korea, but dear Lord, he's a nutcase. But yeah, the bottom line is, and I think the bottom line is, it's a very valid point, and I think it's not fair. No one, again, no country should have nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, they do exist. So I think right now it's like we're trying to keep a handle on it, because if the world, let's say every single country had one, I don't know. That would be like giving everyone a gun. Like everyone would own a gun, and like you wonder, there's some really unstable people that would use the gun for any fucking reason. Excuse my French, but yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, he was the leader in Iran was assassinated, and he was assassinated by the Israelis, by Israel. So guess what? I don't think they're gonna let that fly. I don't think.
Mm-mm.
I think they're gonna abide their time, and they're gonna strike back when Israel least expects it. Because I mean, that would be like another country coming and assassinating one of our government officials. We're gonna be like, oh, really? Oh, really? Okay, we're coming to get you. So, and it's unfortunate, because that could just start a whole freaking domino effect of war. I don't know, but yeah, a lot
Well,
goes.
I mean, the part that I find interesting though with that, Raji, is that the stage was set for it to be cooling down in that region and everything else, and it was kind of like in order to be okay, and then like right on the curtails of him getting his ass
Yeah.
handed to him on a silver platter, then now the drama
Well,
starts.
that's the thing.
Um,
That's the thing. That was one of the things that he always says has been his accomplishment as an American president, that he created peace in that zone, in that part of the world. But guess what? He's still president, so he can't blame this on Biden and Kamala. So there you go. And so I don't know if he has something to do with it. He should have waited until January, like 27th, and then he could try and blame it on Biden and Kamala, even though that wouldn't really fly. But yeah.
I mean, the other thing that you brought up though too is if my memory serves me correct, is that you said about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes and everything else. I mean, the fact is that like one of his other questionable things, and I want to get your perspective on this, is that he just pushed through the Department of Justice within the last 2 or 3 days or 4 days after he had all of his hand-picked people. He just pushed through the Department of Justice a brand new designation to make it legal across the entire United States for capital punishment. It used to be lethal injections. Now they're going to allow, what do you call it, where you stand up against the thing and the people shoot at you? Firing squad.
Yeah.
And hangings, public hangings, and decapitations and electrocution. Maybe one of those I might have misunderstood, but you're talking about the most brutal of ways to kill a person who commits a capital crime. And those have all been pushed off to the side all this time. It's been the lethal injection, which granted, lethal injection, from what I understand, is extremely disgusting. And that's the reason why they put the hood over the person's face. Because they put the poison in, it does horrible things, it makes their face swell, it makes them basically bleed out their eyes and foam at the mouth and a whole bunch of things. Which clearly is horrible. But at least the lethal injection was off to the side. Like, we got rid of electrocution in most states and went to lethal injection.
Well, that was.
But to actually.
Well, that was supposed to be a more humane way to do it. I mean, electrocution was horrific. You think lethal injection was bad? Dear Lord, can you imagine looking at someone's face being electrocuted? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, all joking aside, I have been electrocuted before by mistake. Just to put things into perspective, off of like 110 volt amp light switch. I mean, I've probably had it happen 5 or 6 times in my life. And luckily people were around me because I was doing, handyman work and I didn't shut breakers off correctly and everything else. Now I know over the last 10 years, I haven't been electrocuted except for one time. And that wasn't my fault. That was because there were some wires behind a wall and I was digging and didn't even know there were wires there. Not my fault. But so I didn't know what to shut off. Now I know when I go into a place at home, wherever I'm at, shut everything off if I'm going to do anything electrical. So, I mean, I do know what it feels like to be electrocuted. I've had it happen 5 times. And one time I was stuck. I mean, with the electricity, I was stuck and someone had to hit me with a piece of a 2x4 to get my hands off of it.
Ooh.
So, but trust me, that's the fastest way to wake up. That's for sure. That'll definitely, and when it happens, you don't even know that it's happening. So, I mean, but having electrocution back on the table as a national mandate to kill somebody who does something horrific, okay, to know that that's something that was pushed through right now. Why wasn't this pushed through 2 years ago? Why are we all of a sudden doing hangings, public hangings, public hangings? That's the law that was pushed through because of Donald Trump. He just pushed it through the Department of Justice. Public hangings, electricity, decapitation, and something else. There's 4 of them on the list. Like, if this was something that he wanted to do a long time ago, or that he thought was right, he should have done it a long time ago. Now, why is it that you're letting off all your little pardon buddies, and now you're pushing through all these things at the last minute? And that's, we talked about it last week, I think, about sometimes the leaders, quote unquote, the leaders, aren't the ones actually pulling the strings. They're the ones in charge. Like, it might not be him, but because of his personality and his divisiveness, and because it's on his watch while he's there, it sure fucking looks like something that he'd want to do in the first place. Same thing with putting a white supremacist in a position of power at the last minute. And putting in judges and everything. Oh, the funny part is with Pennsylvania, I got to bring this up because this is just golden. This is one of those little gift doors that we opened just recently. So a man of color that he put into a position of power as the state attorney general in Pennsylvania, he called for a recount. And the judge said, after 2 or 3 times saying no, the judge finally came out and said, it's not up to politicians. It's not up to this. It's not up to that. It's up to what the law is and what people decide. You can't tell me what to say or what to do. Something along those lines. That's my loose thing. That's my loose definition of it. But talk about absolutely fabulous, handpicked. And it's going to sound bad by me saying this because you're a person of color and so am I. You're just a little bit darker than me in skin tone, depending on how much makeup you wear. But our buddy, because I'm a pretty tan Puerto Rican, so. But you can pull it up. The secretary, the attorney general for the state of Pennsylvania. He handpicked him, and I think he was the only person of color that he handpicked. He's got Bilbo or Bilbon or Bilben or something like that last name. I can't remember his name. So I think it's absolutely appropriate that that person responded in that fashion. But what do you think about this whole at the last minute pushing through stuff that's going to be hard to undo? And what do you think about the whole death penalty thing? Like,
well,
there's so many people that get put in prison anyways that we don't even know if they even committed the crime. And then some people like what's his face decides to bail out the kid who killed people right in the middle of the street.
Yeah, exactly.
And pay for his bail. What do you think about that whole thing?
You're president until you're not president. So he only has until the 21st of January. It doesn't surprise me. Of course he's going to do this shit. He has the power to do it. He's also going to pardon some more people too, I'm sure, before he leaves. So there's nothing really to think about it. This doesn't surprise me. This is Trump. This is what he does. And he only has a short time to do it now. So of course he's going to try and push stuff through. It doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think it's right. And as far as execution is concerned, I'm on the fence with that because there's some really horrible people, like serial killers, like Jeffrey Dahmer, that killed and ate people. And, that on that level, when you take all those lives, maybe yours does need to be taken. But I'm still kind of on the fence. And I said, maybe it does. I actually think, though, someone suffers more being locked up in solitary confinement for like 30 years. Although I'm sure, financially it's a burden on us, though, on the government. But with all these privatized prisons that are popping up, it's a moneymaker, right, with them. Yeah, that's a whole nother show and a whole nother topic. But I'm on the fence about that. If we're going to have execution, I really feel it needs to be done through.
Did you say damn it? I'll get it, damn it.
I'm here. I'm listening.
I'll get it, damn it. Let me stop.
Oh, Ricky, she heard you. You yelled so loud, she heard you.
Hi, pretty Ricky. So
Hi, Raji said hi, pretty Ricky. She heard you say you'll get it. God damn it.
Hi, Mama. So anyway, okay, so I people need to be punished for their crimes, and especially horrific things like murder. I mean, really, that needs to happen. It's just if there's gonna be, I'm on the fence with execution. I'm still the jury is out when it comes to that with me. But if we're going to execute, I feel that it needs to be some form of lethal injection. They have to find a better way to do it. I mean, they put dogs to sleep. Why can't they put people to sleep? I don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, fine. And I think dogs go off peacefully. I don't think they're like convulsing and stuff. So yeah, because getting your head chopped off, getting hung, public hanging, a firing squad, electric hair. That stuff is like just it's brutal, and it's just violent, and I don't think that's the way to go if we're going to be executing people that have been convicted of horrific crimes, like someone like Jeffrey Dahmer or those different serial killers. Also, the question, we have to question the fact that people that get convicted, the innocent ones, you wonder about that. How many innocent people went to prison, for something they didn't do? And how many innocent people were convicted to sentenced to death for something they didn't do? So that's a whole nother thing too. But I actually think, like I said a little while ago, sentencing someone to life and putting them like in solitary confinement, you want to talk about torture? That shit would be torturous, because living the rest of your life like that, oh my God, what kind of quality life is that? Yeah. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you bring up that topic because I can speak firsthand about knowing what solitary confinement is like.
Oh.
When I made my big mistake when I was young and stupid and hung around the wrong people, I ended up going to Club Fed, and towards the end of just before I was released, I actually requested solitary confinement for the last week to be taken out of general population so that no one would mess with me, because I was so close to getting out. And what a lot of those people did was, if they knew someone was getting out, then they would make a problem, and then you'd end up staying around longer. So I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm going to solitary. And to be honest with you, I mean, I was only in there for a week. It was nice. Solitary confinement was nice. I mean, they bring you your food, you get your own room, you get your own toilet, you get books. I mean, you get books. I mean, I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
You got a point. I didn't think about that, because you're right. You're away from the
general population. Yes.
Yeah.
They bring everything to you. It wasn't bad, but I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. I'm going to agree and disagree with you about a couple things, because personally, I do not believe in the death penalty at all. Myself, I don't think that that's something that someone else should make the decision to do that. But by the same token, I think whatever the crime was that was committed, that the person, whoever did, they should die the exact same way from the crime that they committed.
Well, that's kind of an oxymoron.
I know, but I'm saying, I know, I agree, but like, if you shoot someone, then you should die by being shot. If you stab someone, you should die by being stabbed. if you drown someone, you should die by drowning. If all those things, but that's like an eye for an eye kind of thing, which is not a good spiritual thing from my perspective. So that's the reason, on a spiritual level, I don't believe that because someone dies that the other person should die. I like the idea of them just being put in a little cage somewhere for the rest of their life to contemplate. And at some point in time, after that person's in there, they're just going to die naturally, or their guilt will create a situation for them that they will take their own life, which is not ideal and not good. And then on a religious side, I know it's going to sound crazy, and I've talked about this with my partner, and he disagrees with me, and a lot of other people disagree with me also as well. But I believe personally in my heart that God made us in his image or her image. And no matter what religion you believe in, forgiveness is paramount to every religion. And I truly believe that even the most horrific crimes that have been done by murderers and rapists and everything else, I truly believe, energy-wise, that is absorbed and should be removed and is gone. No matter what the person did wrong, even though it was horrible, in my eyes, everyone deserves forgiveness, no matter what it is that they did. Whether it's cheating on your wife, cheating on your taxes, or dropping a bomb, or stabbing a baby. I mean, whatever the thing is, I really truly believe, like, if you believe in good and you believe in God, whatever that God is, that you're supposed to forgive the ones the most and let that go, because they're the ones who need it the most. We're supposed to forgive the ones that need it the most. So I believe everyone does go to heaven. I truly believe that. Whatever that heaven is, whatever that nirvana is, whatever that next plane is, whatever that energy level is, whatever that is. So that's just my personal belief about religion. And that's the part where I have this, like, you know, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth kind of thing. But that's me as a human being. That's like, you know, you step on my toe, I get to step on your toe. Now we're even. It's not about that. I mean, that's just a human being talking. And we're like a little speck. You know what I mean? Like, we're like nothing in the big picture. But that's my perspective on that. But you did bring up something that I wanted to talk about, because not a lot of people are doing it. With the prisons right now, there are so many people in prison right now, as we talk today, that are dying from COVID. They're dying from COVID. People in prison. I don't know if when I switched over, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So the part that's distressing is these are people, some people committed a crime, some people didn't commit the crime. And they are stuck inside of a prison cell and they're dying. Just like the people that are in nursing homes are dying. We're talking about so many people, and there's no one's talking about the people that are in jail. Like they don't matter. There's a lot of people. There's something like 260,000 people that are in prison right now that have COVID.
Wow.
Yeah, 260,000 have it.
That's a lot. Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
Well, I'm going to say
What do you...
I'm going to say this too. In regards to the forgiveness thing, I just want to throw my 2 cents in. I think forgiveness is more for the person that's forgiving. Like, if you do something wrong to me and I forgive you, it's really for me. because for me to walk around holding all that resentment, it's only going to eat me up. And so forgiveness is, I think, really important for the person that's doing the forgiving, because you lift that burden and that all that resentment and hate and anger that causes probably all sorts of horrible things physically, like cancer. So yes, I just wanted to say that. Um, but yeah, and then too, it's like when I see these crime stories, because I watch like the ID channel a lot, and you see families where their mother was murdered brutally, or their kid was like raped and murdered, and you're thinking, oh my God, if that was me, like, could I forgive that freaking monster that did that to my family? So, so it's easy to like say, oh yeah, forgive when it's not you, your family, or your loved one. And I always keep that in mind, although it's the ideal thing to do.
Well, I can say this for sure. If I ever get killed or whatever by somebody else, are you still there? If I ever get killed or whatever, I will definitely come back and haunt whoever did it.
You're gonna haunt whoever did it. Oh my
Oh,
God.
absolutely. Oh, good Lord. Absolutely. I'll be moving their car keys.
Yeah, fucking with them.
I'll be sitting there, like they'll come out of the shower and I'll say, fuck Trump. I mean, I'll say like, fuck you. I'll like put it in the mirror with the steam. I'll be standing in the corner with their bathrobe, and then I'll just like let the bathrobe fall down. I mean, I'll be doing a whole bunch of shit to make them go crazy. That's for sure. If I ever get killed by somebody.
If you ever get killed by somebody. So yeah, so you were asking me a question. I went on the tangent of forgiveness, but you were saying something about the COVID people in prison and them having COVID, and yeah.
No, I know. I mean, this whole thing is very frustrating. What I want to try to do is remind people that if they are at home and they are bored or they want some thought-provoking, entertaining shows to watch, today is our 21st episode. So you can go to www.mysouthernexposure.site and you can watch every single one of them. You click that little button and you subscribe through YouTube, and you can binge watch Raji and me and everybody who's been on the show.
And in some of the shows, I even strip. I take off all my clothes. So for any of you that want to see that, oh my God, it'll be like watching like an elephant in the circus, Barnum and Bailey circus with the otters. I have to mess with you, and I have to mess with our viewers.
Absolutely, and
because we talk about
if you want to get
these topics, so it's nice to be fun and playful too sometimes.
If you want to get a hold of that beautiful girl behind the screen, you can get a hold of her at Raji at mySouthernExposure.site. If you want to get a hold of Santa's helper, Joseph at mySouthernExposure.site. And I do want to let you know to go to the website, mySouthernExposure.site, and click where it says sponsors and advertisers. There's a lot of great companies and lots of good local businesses and people that are out there just like me, just like Raji, and a lot of other people that are trying to make money safely from home. You click on the sponsors and advertisers link. It will pull up a little viewing box, and you can go forward and backwards. And underneath each one of those boxes, you can click the actual click here spot. It'll take you directly to each one of those businesses or sponsors or people that we know's website, and you can support them through these times and through the holidays so that we can all share, collaborate, and help each other. I just wanted to make certain to let people know about that. And then also, in addition to that, WeGoLLC.com is having, once again, like I said, WeGoLLC.com is having their Christmas food drive, which also coincides with their toy drive. So please go to the website, click it there at the top, WeGo Cares. I mentioned it at the top of the show, and I wanted to re-mention it again for everybody at home. WEEGO. That's like whee, like a fun ride. Go. Exactly. Go. LLC.com. And you'll be able to go and click the WeGo Cares button to be able to donate, or you can request for food delivery locally here in the area. I don't know if you have any other topics to bring up, Raji, but I've been just rambling on and on.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious. I do have a secret project that I'm going to tease about.
Okay.
But I want to see what if there's anything going on in Raji land that you want to bring up. Is there any business or something going on you want to let people know about, whether it's in the United States or abroad?
Yeah. Well, honey, there's always stuff going on in Raji-licious land. I'm proud to say I did my first interview with Italian media last week. And so the article came out. It's on my social media. I have done interviews with, oh my God, so many countries, but I hadn't done one. And when I say so many, I'm talking about Greece and the UK and Japan and Germany and all of the Latin American countries. And but I hadn't done one with Italy yet. So this was nice. And I had an opportunity to, well, of course they were talking about my story, but they were asking me questions about life and like my philosophy on living and how I look at things, and also it was an opportunity to give my 2 cents on different topics to the Italian people. What's the matter, you? Hey, what's the matter, you?
Why are you looking so sad?
Why are you looking so sad?
This is a nice place.
Oh, shut up!
Shut up in your face.
Remember that song?
Absolutely. I don't remember why I know that song, but I've known that song for such a long time.
Yeah.
And apparently you have too.
I think it came out in like the early 80s, or like 1979 or 1980, something like that. Maybe 81, something like that. Yeah.
It's interesting because I sang it to you, and then we both started singing it together privately.
I know.
But it's just interesting that we both knew that same song, growing up around the same time period, because we're both people around the same age. No one needs to know what that age is because we hold our age well. But it's just interesting that you knew it and I knew it. I know it. It's a fun song, and it actually is kind of really sums up 2020 to me. It really does.
Yeah.
Like for people who have things going good in comparison to other people.
Mhm.
Like, oh, I had to postpone my wedding. Tough titty, said the kitty, and the milk don't taste good. I mean, seriously, cry me a fucking river. Oh, I couldn't have my bat mitzvah. I really don't freaking care. Cry for me, Argentina. Oh, I couldn't take my vacation to the Cancuns. Well, then be happy that you're still alive, because people are dying left and right.
Yeah.
Reality is, every minute right now in the United States, for this last hour and a half, over 130 people died.
Wow.
One person dies per minute right now at this point in the United States.
And how many? How about all the infections per minute?
Oh, the infections per minute is much higher than that. So, like, what's the matter with you? Why do you look so sad? It's a not so bad. It's a nice place. Shut up in your face. I think it's absolutely buenos dias, beautiful. Out of curiosity, if people want to, out of curiosity, if people want to see that article, where do they go to? And if they do not speak French Bordeaux, how will they be able to read it? Because I know.
You mean Italiano?
Yes.
Actually, when you click on the article, you can click and change it to English. So it translates it to English on the article.
And then where do they go? They go to your Facebook or your YouTube or where?
No. My Facebook page, Raji Rajendra Narayan Singh, the long one, because I have a few of them. But that's my main page, so you can check it out there. Yeah. So anyway, I just I want to bring this up too. You know, everyone's so sensitive now, and like it's about being politically correct, and sometimes like with my social media, I post things not thinking that they're going to be offensive to anyone, but damn it, sure enough, someone will be offended by some. Not all the time. I mean, not all the time, but like sometimes it'll come out of left field where I'm like, really? Oh, so I posted on Thanksgiving this dancing turkey to my Instagram, and
I didn't see it.
it was so funny. It was a turkey, but not a live turkey. It was like the actual turkey before it's going in the oven, and it was like dancing to this Latino song, the Spanish song, and it was funny. And so anyway, I had some vegetarians comment on the post, and listen. I mean. Let me tell you. And they were saying, oh, it's a shame that it's the same skin and bones that we humans have, and how would I like it if it was a dead corpse, human corpse that was dancing around and this and that and the other. So I didn't take it offensive. I mean, people have a right to their opinions and everything. But I did respond and I said, I have like the utmost regard for vegetarians and vegan people, because I think that it takes some, especially in the world that we live in. There's meat everywhere, and you have to be disciplined and kind of like restrain yourself, because in most countries, no matter where you go in the world, there's some sort of meat. And when you go to restaurants and places, I mean, there's meat all over the market. So I did say that, and I said, if I grew up on a farm and actually saw the animal, I probably would have been a vegetarian, maybe even a vegan, but probably a vegetarian, because I can't. That connection, it turns me off completely. We get to go to the market and everything's wrapped up nicely, and so we can kind of do a disconnect a little bit. But when I went to visit my grandmother when I was growing up in Trinidad, um, and she had chickens and ducks and goats and all kinds of stuff. And so I was like 11 years old, and I became friends with this goat. And one morning I woke up and I heard the goat crying. They cry when they're being slaughtered. And I ran to the veranda, the balcony, and I looked down, and it was my uncles killing it. That night, the goat was on the table for dinner. I couldn't eat it. I could not eat it because the connection was it was too close for me, and the reality of that. So I get it. I totally get it. But then I also said, in the animal kingdom and in nature, there are animals that are born natural carnivores, and there's animals that are born natural vegetarians. So
Herbivores.
yeah, all right. So herbivore. So how do you say herbivores?
Yes, herbivores.
So if God universe wanted all of us wanted like the rule was that everyone should be vegetarian, why did he make some animals or you or it make this Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, make animals that are natural carnivores? I mean, that's something to think about. Because so anyway, I did make that point, and I said, maybe one day I'll be able to evolve to being a vegetarian. Never a vegan, honey. I'm sorry. I don't think I could ever be a vegan. Vegetarian, yes. This whole thing of like, the animal products. You don't have to kill the animals to get the milk and cheese and stuff. You don't have to kill them for that. So and hey, we all have to work, right? We all have to work. As long as we're in life, we all have to work doing something. So, so I
I,
couldn't, so I couldn't be well, most of us, unless you're the one percenters that scratch their ass and do all kind of shady shit behind the scenes. Let me stop. But no, I'm just saying.
yeah.
That I probably, I maybe one day I'll be able to get to that. I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm not like a meat lover per se, but I do eat meat. I do eat it, and so anyway.
I don't think that eating meat should be something that someone shames. Just like I don't think being a vegetarian is something that somebody else should shame. And the reason why is a very simple one. So, a person who's vegan, truly vegan, like complete vegan, okay? This whole idea of it is new. It's during our lifetime that it didn't exist and now it's happening. So, let's think about that for a second. First of all, it's brand new. Second of all, so you're eating Mother Nature. How is that any less carnivorous than eating an animal? Oh, well, I only eat lettuce. That's a living being. That lettuce grew.
Wow. Wow.
That lettuce grew from a seed, just like the sperm inside of a goat, inside of a cow, inside of a steak, inside of whatever it is. So it's a little bit hypocritical when a vegan, I'm vegan, I don't want to hurt things that are alive. Where do you think, you don't think that plant was alive? That those tomatoes grew and they were alive? They were alive, just like the cow. So I think it's kind of interesting if you think of it that way. Like a complete staunch vegan and then a complete staunch meat eater, passing judgment on the other is like throwing rocks from a glass house when you live in a glass house.
Yeah.
I mean, there is an equal balance.
That's an excellent point, because you know what? Plants are living. Like there's life in plants and flowers and fruits and trees. So there is like a living vibrational energy in nature that way too, with the plants and the vegetables and trees and all of that. And vegetarians and vegans, whether they realize it or not, they're quick to shame people that eat meat. They do it. They do it in like they try to do it in like a holy way, but they do. They do.
It's called passive aggressive behavior.
Yeah.
It's passive aggressive.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Now, I want to just kind of correct something. Vegan isn't new per se in the world. It's new. It's kind of new here in like Western culture, American culture, or Western culture. But like in the East, like in India, there were a lot of vegans. I mean, and Hinduism goes back 5,000 years, and like I had family members that were vegan. They didn't, because of the religion, Hindu religion. Some Hindus don't eat any animal, any animal product, or I should say animal or any product from an animal. So it's been around for a long time, but here in the Western world, Western part of the world, it is kind of relatively new. And when you grow up and you grow up eating meat, and like everywhere you go, there's meat. Like everywhere you go, there is meat. It takes some discipline, to commit to being a vegan or even a vegetarian for that matter. So
Well, I give them credit. I give them credit, and we sometimes. I mean, we do a lot of juicing and eat a lot of salads and all that kind of stuff, and vegetables and everything else. But I love my steak. I love my chicken. I love my fish.
yeah.
And then some vegans are like, "Well, fish is okay." Well, how is fish okay? That's an animal.
It is,
That's
well, fish have eyes, and they
exactly
breathe, and they're moving. Okay,
right.
right.
But fish it's okay. It's fine. Fish don't count. Okay, so that's fine. You go ahead and deal with that Catholic guilt is what I got to say. So I do want to tease something to our network followers. The My Southern Exposure Media Group LLC. There is going to be at some point a series that will be created partially in this brain, along with others collaborating out there, that will be LGBTQ related and quite spectacular. Superheroes are just not for the straight folk out there. Superheroes are not just black, they're not just white, they're not just Asian. There are superheroes every single day walking around out there. So it is time for the LGBTQ community to have their own superheroes. So I want to implore you all to go to www.mysoutherneXposureMediaGroupLLC.com, and you will start to get a little kernel here and there of what is in store for you. And it'll be quite marvelous. But anyway, so I don't have anything more to say today.
Yeah.
Got a busy week this week. I'm sure you do also as well. I want to thank all the viewers at home, the over 73,000 viewers that we've had at this point. Unbelievable. So I think by the end of the year, we'll probably be over the 100,000 mark, God willing, if we're all still here. Fingers crossed. So I want to thank all of you for that. And if you know somebody who is in the need for food, please give them the website www.weegollc.com to go to. They can forward their information so that we can make a food pack for them. And also, if they have children, we can also get some toys to them as well. Also, if you have the opportunity to donate, please contact us directly as well. We actually take the food and the toys directly to the local homes, whoever those people are. You don't need to see them. You don't need to know who they are. They don't need to know who you are. We just help facilitate to be able to make people's holidays more special. And that's the least that I can do while I'm still around. And I'm thankful to have that opportunity. So, but I'm going to say have a good week. Santa's helper is done, and I'm going to leave it to the beautiful Raji Narayan Singh to have her closing statement.
Well, thank you all again for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the juiciness of this show. And stay tuned next week. We'll have more thought-provoking and entertaining conversation for you. And I just want to thank all our faithful viewers out there around the world. Thank you so much. We do this out of the love from our soul. This is a mission of love. It comes from our soul in a pure and humble way. And everyone has their opinions about things, and we have ours. And if you have any particular thing you want us to talk about, by all means, DM us, send us a message or comment, and we're happy to address any topics. Also, before we go, we all have some up and coming visitors in the next, hopefully, few weeks. Um, well, I hope so. Okay, I hope so. It would be nice to have a threesome, some shows, But I think you and I make a really good team, Joseph. So, on that note, I want to wish everyone love, peace, good health, prosperity, happiness, and many wonderful blessings. Bye. Namaste. Namaste. Besos.